What's going on, people of YouTube land? This is a burner. It's been on my mind for a while, but before I jump into that, once again, there are people like, hey, how do I get your ebooks? How do I get your audiobooks? Everything is below every vid. All right. Hey, this is Glendon Cameron back again. What's going on, YouTube? Before we jump into a topic that's been deep on my mind, it's been heavy, just pressing down the gray matter. I get these questions like, hey, how do I get your audiobooks? How do I get your ebooks? Everything that I have, including the Hustler Mindset Project, there's a link below every video. It's down there. And there's a few specials, so check it out. And with that, let's jump into today's topic. At this point, insert a nice picture. The new lower class, highly educated and poorly paid, underpaid, or not paid at all. When you think about it, for many years, we've all drunk the Kool-Aid. And just for the sake of this video and this conversation, because there seems to be some people of some limited intellect, so I'm going to do a little spoon feeding. Education is any time that you gain a skill, knowledge, whatever that you didn't have before is education. To people of a limited mindset, when you say education, the immediate default is college degree, graduate degree. I have learned more on YouTube in the last 4 years than the previous 10 anywhere else. This is an extremely robust university. However, there's no syllabus, there's no guidelines. You must create your own curriculum, which is the problem. Most people have been indoctrinated by the American education system that you will show up and things will be, well, here, you want this spoon? You want that baby food? You want that baby food? You're being spoon fed. And you've become used to it to the point that anything that isn't spoon fed, you don't think it's as effective as the spoon fed indoctrination that you received probably from kindergarten on up to now. Hence, you are boo-boo the fool, because what is happening is irreversible. We're not going back. This trend, corporate profits, all-time high. Some people are doing great in the stock market. Some people are losing their asses. And you have to ask yourself, why? What is going on with this? The economy's getting better for some people, but other people, it's like they're walking through mud. And some of these people have a degree, or 2 or 3. And for the last few years, I've really watched it. And if you're new to the channel, there's a lot of stuff here. Just check out the Hustler Mindset playlist or the American Hustler podcast. They will bring you up to speed. How is it that we're having all of this productivity? Some people are getting incredibly rich, yet there's a large group of people, and it's growing, that's educated, but cannot obtain a decent paying job. All-time high. I left home at the age of 18. I've never went back. I wasn't a rubber band kid. I didn't go back to my mom's house and leave. I left at 18, never went back. That's a hard situation for a lot of people. There's a lot of people I know who have kids who are 22 to almost 30. Still pretty much at home. They haven't really left. If they left, it was just for a brief moment and they came right back. And you have to look at that. It's harder for people. And these people, I'm going to say, don't have the right information. I'm not going to say they're stupid or anything like that. I'm going to say they don't have the right information. But it's harder across the board for people to leave the nest, to reach certain milestones of adulthood. And I look at that, and a big part of that is income, getting the appropriate income, having the right job. I mean, we're going to have this system like in Japan. Like Japan, having the right job made you or broke you. You went to the right school, went to the right university to get the right job, because that was the epitome of being a good Japanese and productive citizen. We're going to come to that, but not because of a cultural thing. We're going to come to that because of a survival thing. Understand, this big shift in technology, this thing that's going on right now, if you're prepared, it's one of the best times in history to be alive. If you're not prepared, you're going to feel tire tracks on your back crushing your skull, because we've got two people in this country, and there's a group of folks that know how to learn and relearn and apply knowledge. And then there's another group of people absolutely hate to learn, haven't read a book in decades, refuse to pick up anything, and they are clinging to the notions that I paid my dues in the old economy, therefore I should get some rewards in the new economy. And I'm here to tell you, it's not like that. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to get over yourself. You're going to have to start learning some new skills, introducing yourself to new people, introducing yourself to new concepts. Because when I go out now, I ask the server, what is their educational background? It's just, I do it automatically now because I'm always gaining information. I don't care if it's McDonald's. I don't care if it's a nicer restaurant. I inquire, so what are you? What are you doing? Oh, you're studying this? And all of these people are in school or have finished school. Damn near every last one of them. And I'm just like, this is interesting. Then I go on YouTube, and there's a lot of kids that feel cheated. They worked their asses off. They didn't hang out with their friends. They studied hard. They got the right GPA from the right school, and they're still struggling. And they don't understand, because from the time that they were this tall, they were told if you do the right thing, you go to school, you keep your nose clean, you stay out of trouble, the future is yours. And they did all of that, and they're no better than Pookie Nim. They're looking, because they're working at that McDonald's or that fast food restaurant or that Target or whatever that service sector job is, right next to Pookie Nim, going, what the hell? He didn't do any of this, and he makes the same exact money that I do, but he gets to go blow more of his money because he doesn't have this student loan burden that I do. So you got to understand, you're working this job that you really don't like, or you might like it. You may work with good people, but your paycheck is very disappointing. It's extremely disappointing with all of the work that you put in to going to school, to better yourself, to educate yourself. You're going, what the hell happened? Well, hey, Uncle Glendon's about to break it down for you. Starting about 1991, computers started to enter the personal space. Computers were so prohibitively expensive, unless you were rich or a company, you just didn't have one. 91, people started making better computers, home computers. Home computing just jumped. And with this, it introduced really smart people to a lot of knowledge very quickly. And these people started to network with each other across the world. And they started to build things. They started to build companies. They started to build databases. Any and everything from games online to archives and records. And then all of a sudden, the information load got faster and faster, and information started to double and it started to triple, and more innovation happened. So essentially, the Jetsons happened. If you Google it, if you haven't seen it, George Jetson, like, they pretty much live in these air cities. They don't have to go to the grocery store because there's this device in the wall that makes their food, clothes. We are heading to that technological place at a very rapid clip. But like any new journey, there are some hiccups. And we have a large body of all populations, not just the United States of America. Just to be really factual, our poor people are rich by the standards of pretty much 80% of the people in the world. Our poor people, because they have air conditioning, cable TV, Xbox, whatever, and you will not see a fat poor person in other parts of the world. And because you go to Africa and you see poor people, they look poor. They're skinny, ribs all up to here, because they don't have shit. Our poor people are literally living large. So even our poor people are better off than folks in other countries. But the deal is, you have this whole crazy, crazy, crazy thing that's going on that's affecting every industrialized country in the world. And it's this growing body of people who just can't seem to climb out of their station in life. And they're getting there and they're just stuck. And once again, they don't have the right information because it's difficult, but it's still attainable if you know how to work the rules of this matrix. Because this matrix is, if you're not a knowledge worker, an entrepreneur, a creative person, or an investor, you will have some issues. Sure, there will be some people who will have incredible jobs and make a lot of money and reach financial independence from their job. These will be exceptional individuals in exceptional positions and exceptional opportunities, which means that shit will be atypical. It will not be the norm. You might have a person like that in your family, while the other 500 family members are hand to mouth. That's where we're going. And it's really kind of intellectually lazy to go say the have and the have-nots, because there's going to be more layers than just the have and the have-nots. There's going to be a new royalty, and it will be the educated creative class. I mean, I'm saying cult-like followings, just crazy stuff. But this big shift is leaving a lot of people out the loop, because like I was saying, we have this large group of people that we don't really need. And I don't say that in a disparaging way, saying, one person's better than another. I'm saying it from a factual, functional standpoint, in a resource standpoint. We have a lot of people who are not contributing to society, but are withdrawing from society in terms of food, natural resources, housing. And at some point, something's going to go snap. And I think this is what a lot of the preppers will call the, shit hits the fan scenario. But I don't think it's going to be so much a shit hits the fan scenario as a long, drawn out decline of a lot of people's lifestyles. Because, one, people are inherently lazy. Because the thing is, I'm not the brightest knife in the drawer, and I figured this shit out. And there's a lot of other people here on YouTube, blogs across the world, they figured this shit out, and they've started to take action. Number one, create a business, get out of debt, contribute to the world, become part of the world. Because this whole notion that I'm just going to disappear and withdraw from the world makes you extremely vulnerable. The very thing that you want to do, hide, not be a part of it, all it does will exacerbate your situation. So with that, how do you get out of this growing class of people, highly educated, not paid, or poorly paid, or marginally paid, and you have the monkey of student loans on your back? Number one, you gotta have some goals. You cannot use the same level of thinking that got you into that mess to get you out. And typically, when people who got into these situations, there's a lot of smart people got into them, and it's because of narratives. The narrative of, go to school, what I said earlier in the video. Go to school, do the right thing, keep your nose clean, you'll be all right. That's a narrative that I was given as a kid. It's not true. It's simply not true. That narrative is missing several serious conversation points. You must go to school, but you must pick the right degree. You must go out into the world and say, look, what is the outlook for this career field? And you look at that. Then you must look, okay, the people in that field, what's college? There's so much more that has to be done in just going to school and getting a degree and graduating with a high GPA. And another thing, there is grade inflation. Going back to a video that I put out the other day, I grew up in a period of time where if you didn't get the lesson, they left your ass back, i.e. consequences for poor performance. That's been tremendously watered down, and there are some people who are going around, I have a 4.0, when really, if they were under the school system that I attended, that sucker would be a 2.7, maybe a 2.8, maybe a 2.9. Grade inflation, special perks, all kinds of things. And, trickery into the grade report. I mean, I'm quite sure some kids have hacked into the college and changed their grades. They didn't earn it. Because we've come to this point where we're trying to like, hey, I got this grade, and you can show it to someone. But if you don't have the knowledge, when you run into a true situation, it's going to show. It's like going on the basketball court and saying that you have Michael Jordan skills, then Michael Jordan shows up and you get dusted. And you're like, but we thought you had Michael Jordan skills. We looked at all those awards and those plaques and all that stuff on the internet saying you were the shit. But here on this basketball court, is that your jock over in the corner? Because it got jacked. I mean, that's what's happening. People are going out and they think they're prepared, but they really didn't get the skills that they needed to excel. So, number one, get yourself some goals. Number two, learn to really ascertain a situation. And what I mean by that is, don't look at the situation the way that you want it to be. Look at the situation the way that it is. You know, I said something in 2011 when I did my first, the degree myth video, and people were like, and I put it on my Facebook page. People were like, you're stupid, and my degree, and it was worth this, and you're only saying that because you don't have a degree, and blah, blah, blah. Now, I can put that video on my Facebook page, and I don't get any flack, because since I made that video, there's been hundreds of stories, hundreds of videos, hundreds of blogs, all coming to the same conclusion. It's not just me. It's just not Peter Thiel, the guy that has this scholarship where he's asking kids to drop out of school and follow some type of different path. It's not me. It's not him. It's several people across the world who are saying, hey, this degree thing is not what it used to be, and we need to do a pivot. So it's not just me. And this is another part of how fast things change. Because if we go back to like 1970, and I saw this due to my own independent research, and I was saying this, I would have been lambasted and called a coon or a nook or a kook or something for a good decade or two. But that degree myth in 2011 is looking like, damn, he knew what he was talking about. Even some people who challenged me on Facebook, and there's some people who challenged me on YouTube, they're not challenging me anymore. They may say something because, it makes them feel good, but the whole deal is, you don't need a business degree to be a good business person. You don't need an MBA to be a business person. Because I've seen a few people here on YouTube who have those degrees, and their businesses support them, but they're not making 6 figures. They're never going to make 7 figures, not the shit that they're doing. So really, if it was all that good, why aren't you doing better? Because if you know better, you would do better. So that's the whole deal. And I'm just going to give it to you straight. One of the best ways to learn how to run a business is to actually start a business and run it. That's the best way to learn how to run a business. I don't care what someone's going to tell you in school, unless that school has a program where they actually make your ass create a business. I remember from my eighth grade sociology class, we had to create a business, and we had to sell these devices door to door and do, count the money. We actually had to produce something. We had to sell X amount to graduate that class, to pass that class. We had to actually perform. Once again, I went to that school system where I don't care if you're slow, work 8 hours more than the kid who's not slow. They didn't care. And as a consequence, you didn't have all these crazy people running around either who was like thinking they were better than they really were. Because the truth of the matter is, they were humbled in high school. And they got it, and in my opinion, they became better adults because they didn't get this whole notion that the world owes them something because they're breathing. So you've got set yourself some goals. Number 2, actually judge a situation the way that it really is. Not like you want it to be. I've hired people I couldn't stand. And the reason is, they knew what they were doing. I didn't like them, but they knew what they were doing. It was an asset to me. That's looking at the situation the way that it is. Not like, he's going to do really good work for me. And screw that. I'm going to go out and get someone I like who's going to fuck up my business. A lot of people make that decision with dire consequences. Sometimes you've got to get out of your own way to be successful. So another way to get out of that educated, poorly paid syndrome is to go to a field that has a bunch of grass. I'm talking about up to here. Get a machete and start blazing your own path. Because, see, this is another thing. what I call the cookie cutter syndrome. I want to copy Brad or Jill or Bob or Leroy. I want to copy what they did and duplicate it so I don't have to work that hard. I do get that, and it does make sense, but you need two trains of thoughts. You've got one business where you're like doing cookie cutter stuff, which is cool, because the thing is, if it's cookie cutter, the margins are going to go down, and you're going to experience pricing compression because it's very competitive, because everybody can get into it because it's cookie cutter. But hey, that can support you, sustain you, give you cash while you are in that field with your machete blazing your own path. Because when you create something, or you make something radically better, or you give it a new way to do it, you make more money. Because I did a video for creating your own economy, which is part of the Hustler Mindset program. And there are companies that just popped up in 2012 that can help you make money like today. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. And I mean, one of these companies that I'm putting out, and I'm going to do a trial run. I really think it's going to be a combination of a eBay and Craigslist competitor at the same time, because it has a social aspect, a social media aspect readily built in. And understand, eBay, Craigslist, these other companies that are old and they have old management, and they're like, well, this has worked for many years. They have that type of culture. These younger companies are going to kick their ass long term because they're hungry and they're coming in with a better collaborative effort. So understand, there's blazing your own path is not a bad thing. And you're going to have to compartmentalize yourself. I know many of you, and I've actually talked people out of quitting their jobs who want to get into hustling full time. You are going to have to take baby steps. When you start a new business, you don't know what you're doing. You don't. And there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be problems. There's going to be consequences. There's nothing like another source of income, either from a cookie cutter method, part-time job, or some job to sustain you while you're building this other thing. So another way to leave the pack of educated, unwashed masses that is growing and growing and growing is limit your recreational activities. Number one, if you get rid of television for 6 months and only watch maybe movies, a little Netflix, and just say, okay, this time I'm not going to be watching television. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to watch an educational video. I'm going to work on my business plan. I'm going to go out and sell stuff. I'm going to make some money. If you trade that idle, oh, look what this Real Housewife of Stupidity did time for you time, building you, making you better, building a better business, you will see a shift in the quality of your life in mere weeks, because a lot of people blow a lot of time watching television. And then, if you're rich and your house is paid for and you've got a nice pension plan, and it doesn't matter if you wake up or not, that your money's coming in, I'm not talking to you. I am talking to that person that has a degree or two, that's working at Starbucks, and this isn't some type of, oh, Starbucks is a bad job. Hey, if they pay you money, it's a good job. I'm talking to that person who's living with not one, two, maybe three roommates because they don't make enough money from their 2.5 jobs to live on their own. I'm talking to you. You're going to have to let some shit go. There's only 24 hours in a day. That's one of the reasons that I mocked Occupy Wall Street. I thought that shit was hilarious. Those in power will not concede power based on a whim. It must be forced or demanded strongly, not, well, we don't like the way that these things are good, and we don't like it. Could you give us a little power because we're powerless? Please? Get the fuck out of here. That's pretty much what happened. Occupy nothing. You got to build something. You got to create your own institutions. You got to create your own economy to have power choice. Because as I look at people who are, it's almost like this nasty little thing that's going on between men and women. There are certain things that some women, and I'm not going to say all women, they expect guys just to be a certain way for every woman regardless. There's this automatic behavior that a guy should exhibit, i.e. being a gentleman, open just for each and every woman, regardless if you deserve that type of behavior or not. That entitlement mentality. I operate on the paradigm that you get what you earn in all factors of my life. And a lot of my friends think I'm nuts. But, hey, that whole just be a gentleman is a prison that a lot of guys are stuck in, and they don't truly understand they're fucking themselves with a dry, dirty dick. Because we live in a world that has changed. Women have changed from the suffrage movement in the 1920s to the art and feminist movement of the late 50s, the 60s through the 70s. The position of women in American society has influenced women around the world. They have changed. Their roles have changed, what they want, yet guys are supposed to say the same. That's intellectually lazy. It's just what one woman called, and she's a real smart woman. I saw it on a YouTube video, another channel that doesn't get a lot. She said, women want equal rights and want to maintain their special rights. And in a situation of, the chaos effect or the butterfly effect, ripple, butterfly flaps its wings, pun has a ripple. Simply put, everything has repercussions. And the repercussions of the women gaining rights, there's a lot of guys just like, I'm not doing that shit anymore. I'm not getting married. I'm not having kids. I'm not opening doors. I'm not doing that. And a lot of these guys are still getting as much pussy as they can handle. Because at no point in history have men been able to get as much pussy without commitment or effort than any time ever in history. Be mad at me for speaking the truth. You know it's true. You got some friends like this. Like, I just can't find a decent guy. But I just fucked this dude who ain't worth shit. If you keep fucking around with shit, you in turn become shit. Just saying. But on a larger issue, you have to get rid of the recreational activities. Yeah, I know it seems stark, even draconian. Because it's like, I must be passionate. I must have my fun. I must be playing my video games. If you are fucking broke, you are living with people, you don't have the choice of how you can come and go without having to deal with the issues of other people because you live with your mom and dad or you have roommates, you might want to up your game by changing how you play the game. Because if you keep doing the same things, you're going to keep getting the same results. So something's got to change radically. Getting rid of television, stop goofing off, and I'm not saying don't have fun. I'm going to tell you a little deal. When you deny yourself just goof off time, when you do take off goof off time, recreational time, and time with your family, it is much sweeter. You feel like, yeah, I deserve this. But when it's always available and you're just goofing off and doing whatever you want, isn't that sweet? Trust me on this. Take 6 months and cut your television time back 90% and start filling up that time with worthwhile pursuits, and you, like I said, you will see a big change in your life. Number 4, to escape the educated, unwashed masses, you have to gain some new skill sets. I don't care if it's learning salsa, I don't care if it's learning hypnosis, I don't care if you're training SEALs. You need to learn how to do something and do it well. Preferably have 3 or 4 really strong skills on something. Notice I didn't say you have to do this or that. It could be anything. One of the new platforms, there are people, and for the hustle, people in the hustle mindset, they're like, what the hell? There are people who are. This was woman. She's doing conversation consulting for $100, $110 a session. Conversation, yes, conversation. Anything could be on the table because one of the things that people refuse to do is not give themselves enough credit. If you have a talent, whatever it is, it could be baking, it could be blowing glass, something. If you do it really well to the point that you create your own special techniques, there is someone out there that will pay you to learn how to do it because they didn't pick it up the way that you did. So when you do stuff and you create stuff and you build stuff, you make yourself more valuable. So learn 3 skills. I don't care, something new, something that you did not know how to do this year. Go out and learn it because it will introduce you to new people, introduce you to new opportunities. You will not find that $1 million sitting at home on that ratty ass couch watching ESPN. It's not coming to you, player. You got to go out and get it. Circa Outcast. Google it. But that's what you gotta do. You gotta gain new skills. Number 5, become a reader again. If you are not a reader, become a reader. Audiobooks, read ebooks, business books. Not some stuff that's like, oh man, look, Johnny the vampire is about to bite. No. Business books. Body language, communication, business, accounting. Start creating that library. Because I can tell you, if you read 30 business books in a year, you'll become very educated in business. 30. That's it. Because most of your competition is not reading one. They're not reading it. They're just not. And even the people who buy the books, they're not reading them. I know this because I write books and I've seen like, hey, why are you asking that question? Because that question is answered in the book that you bought from me. You're not reading it. Got you. So actually learn to read. Read a lot. Take notes. And another thing you need to do. Add new people to your circle of friends. If you are part of the unwashed, educated masses that are not making the money you want to make, you need to encounter people so you can create more human connections, because everything that we do is through and for other people. So the more people you know and like you, not just because you know them, because you can know a lot of people and they see like, oh, there's that motherfucker. They don't even want anything to do with you. So just knowing them is not enough. Knowing them and they actually like you. So create some more relationships. I mean, just go out and put yourself on the dime and just like, hey, I'm going to meet some new people. It could be such a simple thing as going to the Radio Shack and making one of the salespeople your buddies. Yeah, I know, it sounds strange, but you never know. They work at Radio Shack. Electronics, mobile phones, deals, just saying, could be a good hookup. So another thing that you should do is take care of yourself. One of the things I saw with the Occupy Wall Street movement was a lot of people that they weren't really taking care of themselves, because when I say take care of yourself, I'm talking about physically, emotionally, spiritually. You got to keep that going. You got to feed that. You just cannot zone out on bullshit the whole time. You might need to do a cleanse. You might need to do a detox. You might need to go to the gym and get some kind of program. And going to the gym doesn't mean you have to look like freaking Hercules. 2 to 3 times a week is plenty to actually make you feel better, look better, and have a better machine. The body, this is the thing that gets you from point A to point B. This is what gets you to your car, whether it's a Hoopy or a Maybach or a Rolls or whatever. It's that. So you got to work on that. And once again, for those of you who are paying attention, fitness is a hot segment. And there's only so many ways you can do a push-up. I mean, all these people are essentially putting personality to their fitness program. And people buy from people. They don't buy a set of push-up instruction or a set of squat instructions. They buy you, your personality, your energy, and your enthusiasm. That's what they buy. So get busy. Start doing some stuff. Another thing, keep a journal. Chronicle your life. Start knowing what you did this time. This time not last year, you can look back and like, oh, I was here. There is nothing more rewarding than going through your journal and seeing the growth, because the growth is like losing weight or gaining weight. It happens every day, but it's so marginal that you really don't see it until one day like, hey, either I lost a lot of weight or I gained a lot of weight. But with a journal, you're like, oh man, I got one more rep. Oh, I ran one mile. Oh yeah, I wrote X amount of words. Oh, you see the growth. Yes, you turn the pages and that improves your self-esteem, which improves your prospects of gaining new opportunities. So those are some tips for you to escape the unwashed masses of the educated lower class that is growing day by day. Notice there's nothing in there about going to college or getting your MBA. Start a business. Big business, little business, start a business. Get freaking started. Because this lower class, this new underclass, it's going to grow. Exponentially, it's going to grow. And not only like, no. Because see, the thing is, the laws of supply and demand are kicking in hard here. Certain jobs are no longer being created. They're not. Automation, technology, it's taking over so many things. So what are you going to do? Are you going to get busy Or are you just going to wait for the big penis in the sky to come get your ass? Because trust me on this. You could see this video 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and you'd be like, damn, that dude was right. Because I did my research on this one. And all of you YouTubers who want to come in and like, oh no, that ain't happening, bring it. I'm saying bring it. Because I said this shit was happening in 2010, 2011, 2012, and let me just be really clear. We're coasting with the speed of way things are changing compared to what's going to happen, because it's going to look like we're coasting when it's just like, it's supersonic times 20. That's what's coming. So start preparing, start building your tribe, start doing some things differently, start getting out and experiencing the world, and start growing. And stop predicating everything has to be done because you're passionate about it. Or no, you just have to be determined. That's it. You just have to be determined. That's all I'm saying. All right? This is Glendon, and I'll see you in the good side.